Los Angeles, January 14, 1947. The city was alive with neon lights and the hum of post-war optimism. But in the shadows, darkness was growing. Elizabeth Short, later known as the Black Dahlia, was a young woman in her early 20s, ambitious, beautiful, and determined to make it in Hollywood. She had a life filled with dreams but also uncertainty. Friends described her as vivacious, confident, yet quietly lonely. Her striking black hair and porcelain skin made her unforgettable. A night out. On January 14, Elizabeth left a friend's apartment in Hollywood. She was wearing her signature black coat and red lipstick. She had plans to meet someone she had been seeing, someone who promised opportunity, but no one knows exactly who. The streets of Los Angeles in 1947 were a mix of glamour and danger, shining movie theaters, bustling diners, and dark alleyways. Elizabeth walked alone, unaware that her life was about to take a tragic turn. The disappearance. By the next morning, Elizabeth was missing. Her friends reported her gone, and there were rumors she had been seen with strangers. For days, no one knew her whereabouts. Then, on January 15, 1947, a shocking discovery changed the city forever. The discovery. A 22-year-old woman was found in a vacant lot in Los Angeles, her body horrifically mutilated. She had been cut in half at the waist. Her body was posed in a grotesque, almost ritualistic manner. The newspapers exploded with headlines, "The Black Dahlia Murder, Girl Found Mutilated." The name Black Dahlia was coined by reporters, inspired by Elizabeth's striking black hair and the movie The Blue Dahlia, which had been released a few years prior. Police were horrified. The body showed meticulous, almost surgical precision. Investigators noted: no blood at the scene. Body completely drained of fluids. Limbs positioned in a deliberate, posed manner. Evidence of torture before death. Los Angeles had never seen a crime this brutal. The city was gripped by fear and morbid curiosity. The investigation begins. The LAPD launched one of the largest investigations in the city's history. Hundreds of suspects were questioned. Every lead was followed. Elizabeth's life was scrutinized. Her relationships. Her work as an aspiring actress. Her interactions with men in the Hollywood scene. Her last known movements. The case became a media circus. Photographers and reporters hounded detectives. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone had a theory. But despite the massive attention, no one knew who had done this. The first theories. The early theories included: a lover's quarrel gone wrong. A jealous rival. A criminal with medical knowledge due to the precision of the cuts. Random violence escalating into murder. Yet nothing concrete emerged. The case was complicated by the city's dark underworld, organized crime, corrupt police officials, and Hollywood gossip. One thing was clear: whoever did this had planned it carefully. It wasn't a crime of passion. It was deliberate. Cold. Calculated. The tension builds. As days passed, the city was on edge. Posters of Elizabeth's face went up. Detectives stayed on high alert. Everyone wondered, could this killer strike again? The Black Dahlia case wasn't just a murder. It was a symbol of Los Angeles's hidden darkness, where beauty, ambition, and danger collided. And for Elizabeth Short, the girl who dreamed of Hollywood stardom, her story had only just begun, in death. Los Angeles was still reeling from the discovery of Elizabeth Short's body. The city's newspapers screamed headlines about the gruesome murder, dubbing her the Black Dahlia. Every alley, every dark street seemed dangerous now. The crime scene analysis. Detectives combed the vacant lot in Los Angeles again and again. Forensics were in their infancy, but some facts were horrifyingly clear. The body was cleanly bisected at the waist. Limbs were arranged in a deliberate, posed position. No fingerprints or clear trace evidence were left at the scene. There were no signs of a struggle at the location. The killer had planned the disposal meticulously. They had killed her elsewhere, transported the body, and posed it carefully to shock the city. Detectives immediately suspected someone with medical knowledge or access to surgical tools. This was no ordinary criminal, the cuts were precise. The LAPD sworn. The Los Angeles Police Department mobilized hundreds of officers. Detectives worked day and night, questioning everyone Elizabeth had met in the last week of her life. Friends and acquaintances. Men she had dated. People she socialized with in Hollywood bars and restaurants. Each tip led to another dead end. Every suspect had an alibi. But the media coverage made matters worse. Newspapers printed lurid details of her body. Speculation ran wild. The public demanded arrests. Detectives were under pressure like never before. They knew the killer was still out there, possibly watching the media frenzy, possibly planning next moves. Within weeks, the LAPD began receiving letters that would complicate the case. Some were confessions, others were cruel hoaxes. One letter stood out. I killed the Black Dahlia. She was mine to punish. I left her for all to see. Handwriting analysis was in its infancy. Investigators examined the letters for signs of authenticity. Ink type. Paper age. Writing style. Some letters hinted at inside knowledge only. The killer could know, raising the possibility of a taunting criminal. But none led to a concrete arrest. Key suspects emerge. Over the next few months, several individuals drew police attention. Suspect number 1, George Hodel. George Hodel, a wealthy doctor, became a prime suspect years later. At the time, he was known for his lavish lifestyle, connections to Hollywood elites, rumors of involvement in illicit activities. Hodel lived near the area where Elizabeth was last seen. Detectives speculated that someone with medical knowledge and access to surgical tools could have executed the precise mutilation. Years later, investigators would re-examine Hodel's case and find possible links through handwriting and testimonies, but nothing was conclusive at the time. Suspect number 2, Orson Welles rumors. Hollywood gossip spread fast. Some claimed that Elizabeth had met famous men in private circles. Even legendary director Orson Welles' name surfaced in whispers, purely speculative, fueled by media sensationalism. Though it was never credible, these rumors added to the public frenzy, making the case almost impossible for police to handle calmly. Suspect number 3, drifters and criminals. The LAPD also explored drifters and known criminals in Los Angeles. Men with violent histories. Individuals living in the dark underbelly of the city. People who might have targeted Elizabeth randomly. Yet none of the suspects fit the profile perfectly. The killer's combination of meticulous planning, medical knowledge, and boldness made identification extraordinarily difficult. Every day, newspapers published gruesome photos and vivid descriptions of Elizabeth's body. Headlines like "Girl Slashed in Hollywood Horror," "Black Dahlia Mystery Deepens," "Police Chase Elusive Killer." This media frenzy made it difficult to conduct a private investigation. Witnesses feared speaking out. Tips poured in, hundreds per week, many false. Some letters and tips came from individuals seeking fame by claiming involvement, further clouding the investigation. A city in fear. Los Angeles residents became wary of walking the streets alone. Hotels, bars, and apartments where Elizabeth had stayed were scrutinized. Women were warned not to go out alone at night. Men and women alike feared that the killer could strike again. The city's glamorous image was tarnished. Beneath the neon lights and Hollywood glitz, darkness loomed. The investigation stalled. Months passed with no arrests. The LAPD faced limited forensic technology. Too many false leads. Overwhelming public pressure. Detectives began creating a psychological profile. The killer was organized, calm, and intelligent. Likely male, mid-20s to mid-40s. Likely familiar with medical procedures. Capable of careful planning and cover-up. This profile was groundbreaking for the time, the beginning of modern criminal profiling in Los Angeles. The haunting legacy. Even as detectives worked tirelessly, one thought haunted everyone. Elizabeth Short had become more than a victim. She became a symbol of Los Angeles's dark side, the hidden peril behind Hollywood dreams. Every lead failed. Every suspect was dismissed. But the city, and the world, would never forget the Black Dahlia. The city of Los Angeles was still reeling from Elizabeth Short's murder. As months passed, the investigation seemed to go nowhere, but certain suspects and clues began to emerge, creating a tangled web of theories and dark possibilities. The letters that shook the LAPD. The LAPD began receiving letters from individuals claiming to have killed Elizabeth. Many were hoaxes, but some were chillingly specific. One letter read, "I cut her in half because she deserved it. She'll be famous forever." Investigators could not immediately verify authenticity. Handwriting analysis was primitive in 1947, and forensic tools were limited. But some letters contained knowledge only someone close to the crime could know, sparking intense debate within the department. The letters fueled public hysteria and made the investigation far more difficult, as the police had to sort real clues from attention-seeking hoaxes. George Hodel, the surgeon suspect. One of the most controversial suspects was George Hodel, a prominent Los Angeles physician. Lived near the area where Elizabeth was last seen. Known for his eccentric and sometimes criminal behavior. Allegedly had medical expertise consistent with the surgical precision of the body cuts. Hodel's son, decades later, claimed that he had seen documents and possible confessions linking Hodel to the crime. At the time, police interviewed Hodel but had insufficient evidence to charge him. His status as a wealthy doctor complicated the investigation, as influence and social standing protected him. Many researchers today still believe Hodel is the most likely suspect. Rumors spread that Elizabeth had connections with men in Hollywood circles. She frequented bars and clubs, meeting producers, directors, and actors. Some journalists claimed that the murder might have been tied to Hollywood's hidden underworld. Secret affairs. Blackmail. Organized crime connections. While most of these claims were speculative, they kept the case in the public eye and added to its legendary aura. Suspects from the criminal underworld. The LAPD also investigated known criminals and drifters. Men with violent tendencies. Those familiar with Los Angeles's hidden streets. People capable of disposing of a body carefully. Yet none matched the psychological profile of the killer. He was intelligent, organized, and deliberate, someone with both planning skills and patience. The killer's audacity suggested confidence, perhaps a belief that the police could never catch him. Media sensation. The press could not resist the story. Headlines screamed. Hollywood horror, girls slashed in two. Black Dahlia mystery deepens. Detectives chase phantom killer. Every detail of Elizabeth's life and death was scrutinized. Her wardrobe, her friends, her alleged lovers, nothing escaped public attention. This relentless media coverage had a double effect. It kept the public engaged and fearful. It made investigation more complex, as tips became tainted with falsehoods and sensationalism. The confessions that led nowhere. Over the years, dozens of men confessed to the murder, some in letters, others in person. One man claimed he did it to avenge a perceived slight. Another said it was a spontaneous act of passion. A few confessors were mentally unstable, seeking fame or attention. None of these confessions matched evidence from the crime scene. Fingerprints, handwriting, and details did not align. The killer remained elusive, taunting investigators while public fascination grew. LAPD in 1947 faced serious limitations. No DNA testing. Primitive fingerprint analysis. Limited blood and fiber analysis. Despite collecting thousands of clues, from photographs to witness statements, the case quickly grew cold. Investigators relied heavily on intuition, interviews, and profiling. The meticulous nature of the murder suggested someone trained, patient, and possibly medically skilled, yet the evidence was circumstantial. By late 1947, a basic psychological profile began forming. Likely male. Mid-20s to mid-40s. Intelligent and meticulous. Calm under pressure. Experienced with knives or surgical tools. Possibly familiar with law enforcement procedures. This profile, while not definitive, helped narrow down suspects and shaped decades of speculation. The public obsession. Elizabeth Short became a symbol of innocence destroyed and Hollywood darkness exposed. Women feared walking alone at night. Men wondered if acquaintances were capable of murder. Crime enthusiasts across the country followed the story avidly. The Black Dahlia case became not just a murder investigation, it became a cultural phenomenon, inspiring books, films, and endless speculation. The case goes cold. But not forgotten. As the 1950s approached, leads dried up. No arrests. No conclusive evidence. Media attention waned slightly. Yet the legend persisted. Elizabeth Short's murder was unsolved, and every passing year added to its mystique. The city of Los Angeles had experienced something dark, a crime so shocking that half a century later, it remains the subject of obsession. True crime researchers have debated Elizabeth Short's murder for decades. Popular theories include the medical professional theory: the killer had advanced knowledge of anatomy. The celebrity cover-up theory: Hollywood elites wanted to silence a woman who had knowledge of secrets. The sadistic stranger theory: a lone predator selected Elizabeth at random, executing a meticulously planned attack. Each theory has evidence supporting it, and evidence against it. Forensic advances and re-examination. Modern technology has given new life to the Black Dahlia case. Handwriting analysis: letters sent to the LAPD and newspapers have been re-examined using digital imaging. Photographic analysis: high-resolution scans of photographs found in suspect homes have been compared to crime scene details. Criminal profiling: experts analyzed behavioral patterns, reconstructing the killer's psychology. While no conclusive identification has been made, these advances narrow the list of possible suspects and deepen our understanding of the crime. The Hollywood connection. Elizabeth Short aspired to be an actress, and her life intersected with Hollywood nightlife. Bars frequented by aspiring stars. Cafes popular with studio employees. Parties hosted in lavish mansions. Some researchers suggest that the killer might have been someone connected to these circles, using their position to conceal his identity. This theory remains controversial, but it explains why no witness came forward with definitive information. Modern profilers have attempted to reconstruct the Black Dahlia killer's mind. Likely male, aged 25 to 35, familiar with anatomy. Organized and methodical, capable of planning ahead. Nonviolent in public, using charm or persuasion to lure victims. Likely obsessed with control, reflected in the meticulous posing of the body. Probably familiar with law enforcement procedures, knowing how to avoid leaving obvious clues. This profile, though speculative, fits with George Hodel and a few other prime suspects. The cultural impact. The Black Dahlia case left an indelible mark on Los Angeles. Inspired books, films, and television shows about unsolved murders. Cemented Los Angeles's reputation as a city of glamour with a dark underbelly. Became a symbol of Hollywood obsession with beauty, fame, and tragedy. Even decades later, new researchers, journalists, and amateur sleuths continue to explore every detail of Elizabeth Short's life and death. The mystery deepens. What made the Black Dahlia case so haunting? The brutality of the murder, surgical precision and posed body. The lack of evidence: no fingerprints, no body fluid traces, no eyewitnesses. The public obsession: intense media coverage spreading rumors and false leads. The unsolved nature: even with modern forensic tools, the killer remains unidentified. The city of Los Angeles, once bright with neon and Hollywood dreams, had been forever shadowed by this crime. Decades have passed since January 1947, but the story of the Black Dahlia continues to haunt Los Angeles and true crime enthusiasts worldwide. Elizabeth Short's murder was never solved, and its mystery has only grown with time. Revisiting the prime suspect, George Hodel. Among all suspects, George Hodel remains the most compelling. Modern researchers, including his own son Steve Hodel, have pieced together chilling evidence. Photographs found in Hodel's house depicting mutilated or posed female models. Handwriting comparisons linking him to taunting letters sent to the press and police. Reports of Hodel's dark personality and violent tendencies. Steve Hodel claims that his father had both motive and means, and the forensic details align too closely to dismiss. Other suspects and theories. While Hodel remains central, other suspects have been proposed. Drifters and ex-servicemen, men with criminal records or mental instability. Hollywood elites, men with access to the nightlife and power to cover up crimes. Organized crime figures, possibly using Elizabeth as leverage or punishment. Each theory is supported by circumstantial evidence, but nothing ever led to arrest. The meticulous planning suggested the killer had patience, intelligence, and knowledge of anatomy. Forensic re-examination. In the 21st century, modern forensic technology provided new insights. High-resolution scanning of photographs and crime scene evidence. Digital handwriting analysis of letters. Behavioral profiling techniques that were unavailable in 1947. These tools have narrowed the suspect pool but still cannot conclusively identify the killer. Several factors contributed to the enduring mystery. Primitive forensic methods in 1947. Media frenzy, leading to false tips and hoaxes. Powerful suspects with social influence. Meticulous planning by the killer, leaving minimal evidence. Even with modern tools, some elements of the crime remain unknowable. The exact timeline, the method of abduction, and the killer's true identity. Cultural impact. The Black Dahlia case became a symbol of Hollywood's dark underbelly. Movies, novels, and documentaries have kept the story alive. Elizabeth Short's image became iconic in true crime lore. The case influenced the way modern criminal profiling was developed. Her murder reminded the world that beauty and ambition can coexist with danger and darkness. The psychological legacy. The killer, whoever he was, demonstrated a cold, calculated mind. Organized and methodical. Possibly medically trained. Capable of controlling and manipulating victims and the investigation. Likely had a fascination with fame, death, or control. The Black Dahlia killer is often cited in criminal psychology as an example of organized, sadistic offenders. The mystery today. Even today, the murder fascinates. True crime enthusiasts try to uncover new leads. Amateur detectives study letters, photographs, and records. The LAPD maintains files for reference and potential breakthroughs. No one can say for certain whether the killer acted alone, had accomplices, or if the crime was purely opportunistic. The chilling legacy. Elizabeth Short's story is more than a murder case, it is a lesson in ambition, vulnerability, and the dark side of human nature. She remains a symbol of lost potential and innocence destroyed. The case reminds society of the importance of forensic science. And it continues to inspire fascination and horror decades later. The city of Los Angeles may have moved on, but the legend of the Black Dahlia endures. Closing thought. The Black Dahlia case is not just about who killed Elizabeth Short, it is about a society grappling with glamour, crime, obsession, and mystery. We may never know the killer's identity. But the story, the questions, and the chilling images remain etched into history. Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, vanished into legend, forever a reminder that some mysteries are never meant to be solved.